Hello everyone and welcome to Industry Meeting Point with Future Cleantech Solutions. And welcome to the first virtual Kokkola Material Week. We are happy to have all of you here with us today for 2 or 3 hours, depending on you. Our biggest dream today is to have so many meetings for you here in Brella happening. My name is Reija Harlamov and I work for Future Cleantech Solutions at Kokkola Region Development Company, KOSEK. And it's so exciting to host a virtual event today with you. And I'm also so happy that I'm not doing this alone, but together with many colleagues, experts, and students in front and behind the cameras today. And today, an audience developer and communication skills trainer, Esko Tynkkynen from Kokkola City Theatre, will be taking care of all of you there in the audience with me. Esko, are you excited?
Yeah, I'm truly excited. It is really nice to hear more about the future cleantech solutions and all the Nordic innovations around the topics. Also, it is really nice to be part of the digital revolution and be a part of this kind of digital meeting and see what we can do with these kind of meetings today and also in the future.
Yes. During the first hour, we'll take you on a virtual tour around Kvarken region. We'll start from Kokkola and via Vaasa we'll go to Örnsköldsvik, Umeå and Skellefteå in Sweden. We'll hear interesting presentations about future regional investments and how co-creation and cooperation between industry and academia is taking us towards more sustainable future. And after 1 hour, 1-to-1 meetings are able to start, and you'll be having 2 hours today for 10 minutes, 10-minute meetings, I mean. There are also around 20 meeting slots available on Wednesday and on Thursday during ReKokkola and BioKokkola days.
During the second half of the event, we will dive into the world of virtual business meetings. And I will be hosting a panel discussion where challenges and solutions of virtual meetings are discussed. Stay tuned since also Antoni Lasinai, one of the Sweden's most popular keynote speakers, will share his tips, tricks and hacks how to have successful meetings and how to perform better in digital meetings. He'll guide us in goal setting, in elevator pitch, importance of the first impressions and help us to find our communication superpowers.
I'll try now to pitch Brella for you. It will be quite a tall building, and since I will be a quick tour how this platform and tool is working. And it is actually a platform developed here in Finland. Here on your left, you'll find 5 pages. In people, you'll find not almost, but over 500 participants that are ready for matchmaking. Artificial intelligence have selected the best matches for you based on common interest and put the best matches on top, but all the 500 are there when the list continues. You can also search for contacts here on top. And if you wish to edit your profile and your interests still, you can click on You, that is somewhere over, maybe there. And then again, if your account information needs to be edited, it's even more further over there in the farthest corner. And then the schedule page will be showing the schedule of our event and the whole week. And it's also possible there to filtrate in many ways. And if you wish to edit your availability for meetings, it's possible in the schedule session in filter networking availability in just 10-minute slots. And more information about, for example, this industry meeting point today, you'll find by clicking the program's title or the speakers. Stream page is, of course, where we are streaming at the moment. And if you keep the screen page, stream page there, you'll also find chat. A lot of S's and chats in this speech I see. The chat will be on the left side, and please give us comments, questions. Let's make this event interactive. And I have all my colleagues around the Kvarken region saying maybe hi there at the moment, at least I hope so. And they will be helping you in the chat, so come along. And then the last page, virtual booth, will present all the partners organizing this Kokkola Material Week. And you will even find us behind the Future Cleantech Solutions booth. And there will also have Energy Vaasa and North Sweden Cleantech representatives in virtual booths. So come and say hi even there and book meetings with international business developers.
Now it would be nice to hear a bit more about the project behind this event, and let Triinu Varblane take the stage for a while and bring her energy for us all from Vaasa.
Yes, good idea. It's always a pleasure to give the stage to Triinu.
Thank you, Reija, and thank you, Esko. Yes, I'm bringing some extra energy to you from our energy cluster called Energy Vaasa. Many regards from all of us. Nice to be here in Kalevi Kokkola. Due to Corona, it almost feels like being abroad, even though it's only about 1.5 hours between us. As Esko mentioned, my name is Triinu Varblane, and I'm working as an international business developer at Technology Center Merinova. And I'm also the country manager for Interreg Botnia Atlantica project called Future Cleantech Solutions. This project is a co-financed by Regional Council of Ostrobothnia, Region Västerbotten, Region Västernorrland, City of Kokkola and Vaasa, municipalities of Umeå, Skellefteå and Örnsköldsvik, Vaasa Region Development Company Vasek, Technology Center Merinova, Umeå Energi and Skellefteå Kraft. And as you can see on this slide, this project is co-organized between Vaasa and Kokkola Region Development Companies, Kompetensspridning i Umeå, Skellefteå Science City, Örnsköldsviks Municipality, and Technology Center Merinova. I'm not alone here. You already met my dear colleague Reija, but also we have here behind the cameras Nora and Peter, and the whole project team, as already mentioned before, is ready and waiting to chat and have meetings with you. Maybe you recognize some of the faces now, so please contact them today. And then what the whole project is about and its goals. We strive to develop and find out the methods for cross-border cooperation in information sharing and business relations between small and medium-sized companies and large regional investments. And that's not all. We also work for sustainable growth and business development of future cleantech solutions in Kvarken region. Cluster development as well as gender equality are essential parts in all our activities. So by these words, I would like to welcome you all to our session, and I give the word now to Reija and Esko.
Thank you, Triinu. Quite a team and quite a goals you have. I hope the best for the project and the whole team behind it. Reija, what do you think? Shall we start the tour around the Kvarken region?
Yes, let's do that. And let's start here in Kokkola. As Trina mentioned, our project goal is to share information about future industrial investments. And one example of those is a company called Keliber that operates here in Kokkola and in Kaustinen, and who aims to be the first company in Europe to produce battery-grade lithium hydroxide from own ore reserves for the needs of lithium battery market. Today, Safety Manager Sirpa Olausen will tell us about shared value from lithium. Nice to have you with us, Sirpa, today. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Reija. It's exciting to be here. And good afternoon to you all and welcome. Keliber is a Finnish mining and chemical company with the aim of producing high-quality lithium chemicals from own ore, especially for the needs of the growing international lithium battery market. Sustainability is at the heart of everything we do. Keliber's sustainability is built on our purpose, powering people to choose for climate, our value proposition, sustainable lithium from Europe, and our values, which are openness, ambition, efficiency, and respect. We have identified our stakeholders' expectations and Keliber's impact on the environment, people, and the economy. Based on the materiality assessment, we have prepared an extensive sustainable program called Keliber Sustainability Excellence, which includes 3 main themes. First, we respect people and environment. We minimize the environmental effects of our operations, secure biodiversity, and are a part of circular economy. We improve environmental impact management together with the authorities, partners, and our other stakeholders. All of our employees and subcontractors are introduced and committed to an environmentally responsible approach. Secondly, we co-create shared value from lithium. Keliber is part of the battery value chain. Our strengths are high-quality products and excellent customer service. Profitable and responsible business creates shareholder value and well-being for our stakeholders. And third, we foster a responsible working community. We invest in work well-being and offer opportunities for professional development. We treat each other respectfully, appreciatively, and justly. Production of critical battery materials requires superior purity-grade lithium hydroxide monohydrate. In February 2020, the results of a 3-phase continuous pilot program were released. The program comprised of concentration, conversion, and hydrometallurgy parts. In the last phase, a 14-day continuous pilot was operated at Outotec Research and Development Center to prove the functionality of the chosen soda leaching technology. The goals were met, and the purity of the product received with a single crystallization stage was very high. In addition to that, the lithium recovery of the process was better than the one used in the definitive feasibility study released in February 2019. Our operations in Finland enable efficient transport to customers as our production is located near the future demand. In May 2020, we reviewed our production plans. The annual lithium hydroxide monohydrate production was increased from 12,500 tons to 15,000 tons annually. The future concentration plant was located close to the largest ore reserves in Päiväneva. These changes improved significantly the project's cost efficiency and return on investment. Keliber works with numerous partners, subcontractors and representatives. In our cooperative relationships, we act transparently and in accordance with our principles. Safety always comes first in our operations. Keliber wants to be an open and conversational neighbor and working partner, known for its willingness to find solutions. We work actively together with our stakeholders by, for example, arranging meetings with landowners and residents, as well as decision makers and authorities. Relocating the concentrator plant to the mining area has also many environmental advantages, as it reduces traffic volumes and thus noise and dust emissions caused by the transportation. After our operations have ended, our objective is to rehabilitate the mining areas into biodiverse living environments. The pits will be filled with water and turned into lakes that can be used for recreational purposes. The piled soil will be utilized in landscaping and vegetation will be planted on the areas. The conditions in the area, including the quality and quantity of water, will be monitored upon the completion of operations. In spring 2019, a preliminary assessment on the general economic impacts of the mining and wind power project in the Kaustinen sub-region was carried out by the Kokkola University Consortium Chydenius. The results show that Keliber's lithium project would bring significant economic benefits to the region in both investment and production phases. According to these results, for example, the project would increase the number of employed people by up to 215 persons in the Kaustinen sub-region and up to 280 in Kokkola sub-region. And then some key figures of our project. Over 11 million tons is the estimated measured and indicated mineral reserves we have right now. 9.3 million tons is the estimated proven and probable lithium ore reserves. And approximately 15,000 tons will be the amount of lithium hydroxide monohydrate produced in the Kokkola chemical plant. Up to 20 years is our estimated operating period, according to the feasibility study we have now. And 2022 is the year when the construction should start. And 2 years later, we will be in the production. To find more information on us and our project, please visit our website. Thank you.
Thank you, Sirpa, for your presentation.
Yes, thank you. And Sirpa will now be joining the chat forces. So if you have any questions to her, please send them to the chat. She and even several Keliber members are here in Brella, and you can find them in their own virtual booth section for meeting requests.
Reija, where to next? It's been quite a while since I've traveled anywhere outside of Central Ostrobothnia.
Oh, same. We're in this pandemic together, but let's travel safely together. 120 kilometers south to energetic Vaasa, where Kenneth Videll is waiting. Wärtsilä is currently building the Smart Technology Hub, where production, R&D, and engineering will all happen under the same roof, and where co-creation will bloom in the future, creating new sustainable solutions for the market. Kenneth, will you tell us more about Wärtsilä's co-creation concept?
Kenneth, screen is yours.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, or good evening, good afternoon, I believe it is still, at least on the other side. Briefly about Wärtsilä, we are active in 200 locations in 80 countries around the world. We employ about 19,000 people, and we provide solutions, sustainable solutions for the energy and marine markets. And as mentioned here, we're building a Vaasa Smart Technology Hub, and it's not only a production facility. It is what we believe, and we want to reach a new way of collaborating with the ecosystem around us. So we talk about an ecosystem of co-creation. And yes, so what it is, as mentioned, implement our strategy, enabling sustainable societies if what we want to do, and that is our purpose, our vision, our goal. Very much focusing, of course, on research and development, how to get there, also together with, of course, our customers who are using our solutions. Then how we build and what we build in the future is, of course, something which is of interest. We don't know. We have seen that the world changes rapidly. As you mentioned, the COVID-19 show that we are capable, all of us, to adapt quickly when needed. And this is exactly what we want also in terms of the production side, that it is something which is flexible if and when there are changes in the needs of what we need to produce. Data analytics, data sharing is, of course, of essence. And here we believe also that it's up to us all, and we need to sort of be a role model here. In order for us to expect that others share, we also need to share. So that is something that we need to work on very much. And then the Smart Partner Campus, the stream which I'm leading, it's an innovation platform in the ecosystem, and I will touch that a little bit deeper here together with the co-creation playbook. So what is then this Smart Technology Hub? It's turning our visions into reality, and it's an ecosystem, of course, marine energy in Vaskiluoto. We will start piloting there, but of course, it's not limited to by any means Vaasa. It's going global. Some key figures of the site. It's not small. It's quite big, and actually I have some pictures here as well of the, I would say, rapid progress. The groundbreaking was over a year ago, and that's where we are today. So we have almost finalized the Smart Technology Hub building, and then really at the back of it, you can see the logistics center coming up as well in the background. And this is close to the harbor in Vaasa. Then about Smart Partner Campus, as we see it, it's a platform for win-win co-creation in the ecosystem, and this is fundamentally what it's all about, to get faster results, or let's put it this way, come to a conclusion whether it's worth continuing or not when it comes to developing a new idea or taking concept further. So it's piloted in Vaasa, but not, of course, limited to. And here we see that even though it's very nice and inspiring to be innovative and think of new solutions, it needs to be a win-win. And we know from at least internal R&D processes that out of 100 ideas, only 3 will go forward. So we know that we need to speed up the saying, thank you, but not for us today, and maybe another time. in order to, of course, secure the resources available for those ideas which then lead further. And here it's not only getting faster, but also using the African proverb that if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go in numbers. And this is sort of the ecosystem win-win thinking that it's lying behind here. That if we are together, we can go further. What are we then offering sort of to the ecosystem in terms of facilities or processes? Just a slideshow and nice talks. We have spaces available, or will have, of course, when the Smart Technology Hub is up and running, what we call protozones. If you are familiar with the Aalto Design Factory spaces, something similar, but of course we will have the entire expertise available of the Smart Technology Hub. But here it's sort of in a concise matter, flexible, serious playground to build, test, validate your ideas together with the actors of the ecosystem. This is what we really want to sort of strive at, to get to a result. Shall we continue or not? Our values, in a sense, were 3 pillars: community, facilities, and innovation support. And this community part we will kick off beginning of year. So we will invite everybody who feels that there is a win-win, and it means a win-win, not win for us and lose for you, are open to join this community and then use the facilities, of course, and the partner campus as a platform for innovation and support that innovation journey. Culture, very, very important. So very much the agile, get things done, questioning, getting further, and of course documenting also in a case an idea does not fly. That we document that for the coming generations or coming years when a new emerging technology will actually make this happen. Mindset and value is very important here. Trust, I would say, and openness go hand in hand, of course, together, talent, drive, and agile in the way of how we work, but fundamentally openness and trust, and also learning from mistakes that builds trust, that it's worth while continuing together, even though we did not maybe get the result that we expected, but then we stopped and did something else instead. So that's fundamentally what we believe. Opportunities here, what we could offer then, of course, to the ecosystem and being part of it, proving different kinds of verification of concepts, hands-on training, dry testing, rig testing, and of course then access to our expertise networks around the globe, in a sense. What we want in terms of ways of working together with the ecosystem partners, be flexible, adjustable, exploring new methodologies, how to get to the results in a faster way. And here essentially what we are compiling right now is the co-creation playbook. It's partly published on the site, which is at the bottom here, but it will be reworked a bit because we also need to think of this service design approach and what does the customer really want. And here we see that we need to work that. The content will stay very much the same, but fundamentally, if there is an idea or a concept to be developed, we see that there are 3 ways of coming in. And one is that there is a challenge, a problem needs to be solved. The second is that there is already that's identified, but we don't know the concept, how to make it work. And the third one is that there is a concept, but it needs to be validated. And the playbook is not by any means meant to be, it's not a process that has to be followed from A to B. It's a guide and not to be considered as restricting. It's just if you don't know what else to do, please have a look at that and see how we could then go further. Otherwise, more information on the smarttechnologyhub.com pages as mentioned. currently already regarding the playbook, but that will be remade in January next year. So that's in short about how we look at ecosystem co-creation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kenneth. It was nice to see you again and have you as our guest today. Kenneth will also be available for one-to-one meetings here in Brella, if not all his meeting slots are already booked. If you wish to have a chat with him, suggest a meeting in People page. Also, many other companies from Vaasa are here today, as well as my colleagues Maurits, Lasse and Peter and several other Energy Vaasa representatives. Nice to have you here with us as well.
Reija, are we finally ready to go across the border and take a boat to Sweden?
Yes, you have been waiting that for a while.
I have.
Yes, let's leave the low coastline of Ostrobothnia behind and travel to high coast of Västernorrland, Örnsköldsvik to be exact. Let's say Övik instead.
Yes, Övik sounds great. Let's do that.
Yeah. In Övik, Helena Näström and Jon Moraeus work to promote a bioeconomy via Rice Processum and North Sweden Cleantech platform and via our common project. Helena and Jon are going to present Rice Processum's pilot premises virtually, talk about cooperation possibilities over there and bring exciting news from Örnsköldsvik, Övik.
Övik, screen is yours.
Hello everybody and warmly welcome to Örnsköldsvik, and we are right now at the office of Rice Processum. My name is Jon Moraeus and I'm working in the project Future Cleantech Solutions, and on my right side is...
Yes, I'm Helena Näström and I work at Rice Processum and also the innovation and export platform North Sweden Cleantech.
Yes, and we have different parts in this presentation that we want to pick up, but there's one thing that we are extra excited about, and that it is that we're now launching our 3D virtual guided tour, and you're going to find it right now in the chat. So just wait a second before you click that link and see what you can see in there. But we're real thrilled because we're now looking at the possibility for, even though Corona is here, we can present our office and most of all our pilot. But now, what do you think about this, the 3D virtual tour?
Well, to Rice Processum and to all of the companies here in Örnsköldsvik, it's really important because now we can take other companies to come here, do the virtual tour, technical and business visits without coming here. Virtual tour is really high top quality, so you can see all the details and you can see actually what you're able to do in the pilots or in the test beds. So this for us is really important, and this is just the first step. Then we're going to make more of them. All of our pilots here in Örnsköldsvik, we have a lot of them here at Rice Processum. We also have a demonstration plant, biorefinery demonstration plant, and we're planning to do as much as we can in terms of security and so on.
But what do you think about, right now we have a lot of Finnish companies watching this. What do you think are their benefits of us doing this?
Well, actually, if you're in the chemistry area or biochemistry, like within biomaterials, chemistry or biotechnology, then you should take contact with me or somebody else at Rice Processum, because then we can arrange a tour for you to see what kind of test beds, what kind of pilots, what kind of research we can do here for you guys. This is the place to be, actually.
And we also see a big... it's amazing how the Corona started us to see how we can use different like this. We don't have to travel to Finland. We can still build a good relationship with all of you Finnish companies and all other companies as well. And we see this as a really good thing because we don't have to build up an event with special scientists or special guided persons. We can do that and find a day and then make it really good. So this is like the next step that we see that's going to make companies and businesses grow even bigger. So
Yes.
just wait a little bit more because Helena has something more to tell you guys, but check out the link after this.
Yes, and we don't only have a lot of pilots and test beds and demonstration plants here at Örnsköldsvik within the biorefinery area. We also are now happy to announce that the Swedish government has dedicated 350 million Swedish crowns, around 35 million euros, to develop more demonstration plans, to pilots, to make them more efficient, and most of these plants and test beds and pilots are situated here in Örnsköldsvik. So my guess is a lot of those millions is gonna end up here in Örnsköldsvik and Domsjö development area.
But what does that really mean for first Örnsköldsvik, and then I want the answer for the region.
Yeah.
First Örnsköldsvik, but what does it mean for Örnsköldsvik?
For Örnsköldsvik, it's going to be more employees within the biorefinery development area, and we're probably going to have to build a lot build something rather big, and we're going to be the node in Sweden for the biorefinery development, because this is the place that we have gathered most of them in Sweden, of the pilots and demonstration plants and test beds. It's going to be here. So for Örnsköldsvik, it's going to be quite big in terms of more employees. The possibilities for this region is going to be huge within the biorefinery and bioeconomy area. We're going to level up a lot in this area, and we're going to have a lot of competence here. We're going to have a lot of resources to work with these questions to make a more sustainable world.
And it makes, if you look at it like with the sustainability and everything, it kind of warms my heart to hear about the government really putting in this great effort and money. And it's really nice that you can, not just you, but Rice Processum can see the possibilities, and hopefully we can present that possibility for you companies sitting and watching this, because that's pretty much going to be the best turnout for everyone if we can build a platform and you guys can take off from that. Is there anything more that we have missed? Is there anything
No, I think that's pretty much all, and I just want to stress that we have a good thing going on here. We have a lot of competence, a lot of test beds and pilots here within the area, and then I mean the whole northern part of Sweden, and also in Finland. We have a lot of potential to do a lot more with our forest. So I think this is a great opportunity to level up the sustainability parts of
our region.
Yes.
And that is pretty much the thing I want to send with you guys. Check out the link, or if you have any questions or something like that, I'm going to be able to be scheduled for a meeting under Kokkola Material Week, or if there's no time for you guys to visit or to make a meeting with us, just please give us a call or send us an email. This is what we do. We want to make good relations with all of companies and persons who can really much work around sustainability. So from us here in Örnsköldsvik, thank you so much for listening, and back to you guys.
Thank you, Helena and Jon.
As Jon mentioned, he is here now in chat, and I would say he was quite a perfect person to test BRELA with, since he and have a meeting with just maybe to chat and say hi, since Jon is also working as a mental coach for pro athletes, and he's always lifting spirits up. So don't hesitate to contact any of us, but not either Jon. He will maybe also can tell which companies from Övik are here in Umbrella today.
That sounds interesting. Maybe I'll have a chat with him after the panel discussions.
Do that.
But Reija, where do we go from Övik?
We'll travel now back north around 110 kilometers along the coastline of Sweden to the city of Umeå. But unfortunately, we have had some sad news from Umeå. Professor Mats Tysklin has fallen ill, but our project has instead came up with a future fast solution. And instead, we are going to have our colleague Jenny Åkermark online, and she will present the North Sweden Cleantech platform and Smart City Sweden work that they are so strong in Umeå. Are you ready, Jenny? Your stage is yours.
First of all, thank you, Reija, for a great job with presenting our project and the different cities in the region. My name is Jenny Åkermark, and I work as an international business developer at North Sweden Cleantech, and I'm located in Umeå. And North Sweden Cleantech is a regional innovation and export platform, and we support business development of companies in the cleantech area for cleaner growth and reduction of climate change. And we have our work is focused on three main areas. It's bioeconomy, clean energy, and smart and sustainable cities. And within these three areas, we have around 100 cleantech companies that we support. We arrange network meetings and facilitate cluster operations within Cleantech. We also have around 30 test beds where we provide possibilities for Swedish and international companies to test their products and services. And since we also are a part of a national export platform called Smart City Sweden, we also arrange technical visits to our region. Cross-border collaboration is also something we welcome. In addition to individual matches between companies, we are also looking for new contacts within innovation ecosystems, clusters, networks, and test beds. And now I have a video that I would like to show you to give you an idea of what our region has to offer.
Thank you, Jenny. It was nice to have you with us today here, and all the best to Umeå. Reija, if I'm counted right, we still have one place to visit.
Yes, you're right. Esko, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cities. Before we return back to Kokkola, we'll continue north to Skellefteå. Did you know that when one of Sweden's biggest infra projects, Norrbotniabanan, is ready, this leg along the coast will be half as fast as today. Then again, our journey today is only one Zoom away. Since Anja Palm, Business Development Manager at Skellefteå Municipality, will tell us about a new industrial era in Skellefteå.
Welcome to our live stream, Anja. The screen is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for this event and for inviting me. My name is Anja Palm, and I work as a business development manager at the municipality of Skellefteå. And I've been asked to tell some parts what's happening in Skellefteå today, and I think the best way to describe that is by showing this. We're really stepping into a new industrial era. So in Skellefteå, we've been producing clean green energy for the last 100 years, and the development of Skellefteå has been based on those industries within the energy sector, within mining and the wood industry. And what's happening today is that we're stepping into a new part of that industry development together with Northvolt and their establishment to build Europe's or the world's greenest batteries. So I will show you some images from this from the sites. So on this one, you can basically see the site, Northvolt site, relative to the city center of Skellefteå. Today, there are lots of buildings on this site. They started building for more than 1 year ago and will be in production during next year. Next to the Northvolt site, we have 2 big industrial areas that will be available for Northvolt's suppliers. So today we are working on the site HSE, Hedensbyn Site East. This area is 47 hectares, so it's a really big area, and we hope that we will be selling these sites in the near future to suppliers that will make it possible for Northvolt to produce their batteries. And it's really important for the full ecosystem of creating clean batteries that also the suppliers can benefit from the clean energy in the north of Sweden and north of Finland. So this is what it looks like at Hedensbyn Site East this summer. The municipality has decided to do the land development in advance before we have the customers, and there are 2 main reasons for that. One is the sustainability aspect, that if we do the land development of the whole area at once, it's much easier to do it as a sustainable project. So all materials on this site will be relocated somewhere else on the site. So both the rock and the soil and all of that. So nothing will be taken out and nothing will be taken into this site. And that's possible due to the size of the area. The second reason why the municipality is developing this land in advance is to speed up the establishment process. We know that the suppliers will be in a hurry to match Northvolt timeline, and by preparing the land, we can save at least 1 year of the establishment process. Northvolt establishment has a huge impact on Skellefteå's development, and one very clear example of that is the investments we are now making in the port of Skellefteå. So here is an image of the new quay that will be on the north side of the port. where there will also be lots of space for logistical solutions. There will be connections, of course, to the port, to railway, and to road, and very close to the airport. So we see this as a very good logistical spot in the north of Sweden. We stand in front of a development that we haven't seen in Skellefteå at all. Since Boliden found gold outside of Skellefteå more than 100 years ago, we've had 100 years for the development to where we are today. Today we need to do that same journey, but maybe in 10 years of time. We are expecting in the next 5 years for 6,000 new jobs to be created. That means 5,000 new homes need to be built. Within 10 years, we are expecting 10,000 new jobs and 8,000 new housing. So there's a lot of money being invested in Skellefteå today in order to make this possible. And the city itself can't make this ourselves. We need to work together with the regional and national authorities, but also to work with the business community. A rough estimation is that 60 billion Swedish kronor will be invested in Skellefteå the coming 10 years, and this is both from the municipality and from the companies. So one other example is the new culture house that will be one of the tallest buildings in the world, entirely built in wood, which is also one example of when we are expanding the city, we need to do that in a very sustainable way. And one way to think is to build as much as we can in wood. And with infrastructure investments, and I'm looking especially at the North Bothnian line, it will also be much easier and possible to connect our different regions from Umeå up to Luleå to be one labor market much closer than we are today. And also with the development of electrical flights, we see that the Finnish side is very close to us. And this will be a very interesting region to follow the coming years. So by that, I would like to say thank you from Skellefteå. You are more than welcome to visit when this corona situation has ended. And I think together with Finland, Region Västerbotten, we will definitely put this region on the European map of sustainable solutions. Thank you.
Sounds like a good idea, Anja, and thank you so much for visiting and being part of Industry Meeting Point with FCS. Presentations from Skellefteå are always so exciting and so visual. I hope as well to be able to visit Skellefteå again next year, maybe during the Energy Confusion event again.
What a nice trip it's been, and packed with information. It might be that we are already saying goodbye to some of our viewers, and for those who are having the first meetings really soon. But we invite you to stay for the second half of the session, and where we hope to help you to have more successful virtual meetings.
We indeed hope that you enjoyed traveling with us, and actually it would be nice to hear some feedback of this journey, especially from those maybe now leaving the train. If you are going to continue 1 hour, you can skip this now and take it with us later, but in menti.com, a web page or via your mobile, we have opened a couple of questions regarding this event. So if you go to menti.com and use code 603029 and you'll find them. Your feedback will help us developing future events. So at 5 p.m. in Finland and in 4 p.m. in Sweden and Central Europe, Abrella is open for one-to-one meetings, 10 minutes each. Every 10 minutes, it's possible to meet a new person. And I would still recommend having also breaks in between meetings. Otherwise, it can be quite heavy.
Yeah, even though traveling and meeting new people is really exciting, it can be really energy consuming. I believe it is best for we who don't have an immediate meeting or we who are heading to panel discussion have a short break before the next events.
Yes, and I am looking forward having a panelist joining us finally here in studio and hearing Anthony Lasinai's tips, tricks, and hacks. But it does sound like a good idea to reload our batteries for 3 minutes, maybe 2. And no, we are Esko. We are able to have a 7-minute break, even better. And maybe we'll have one of our panelists to have a smart break for us here in studio. But whatever you use your time during the break, have a glass of water, walk around, meditate, or move yourself, and then let's join again really soon here at 5 past. It was nice having you here. Thank you. welcome back. We hope you had a nice break.
Yes, indeed. I at least feel really energized after the break, and I'm ready to head towards the panel discussions.
Well, that's good since you have quite a key role over there. Maybe I'll let you get comfortable in a while with our panelists, and I thought that we would still quickly take a call to Kokkola Industrial Park, where Thomas Slotte, chairman of the area association, has been listening in, and it would be interesting to hear how distancing rules and everyday life have changed at an industrial site. Hello, Thomas. Nice to have you here. Have you and the whole area, the industrial area, been affected? Or how have you been affected after physical meetings had to go virtual and strict rules forbidding visitors took place already 6 months ago? What kind of challenges have you, Thomas, faced and witnessed?
Hello, Rea. Complete surprise for all us, as you can imagine, around the world, that it has been a surprise for us. If I think we are talking about the visitors and the people coming to the area, which is not allowed, had not been allowed for half a year. So it's clearly the first impact was on our customers from the different companies on the area. It's clear that when the customers can't come here and there is almost a lockdown with the flights, etc., it has had a huge impact on us. It has been the same thing for us not to visit our customers around the world and even to Europe or Far East or US. So it has been a clear impact. There is other thing that we are missing also, that it's not only the customers who are visiting the area. We have things like audits, inspections, and those are, regulatory-based things that we need to do, and that has a clear impact on the chemical companies in this area. So it's have not been allowed to do the audits, and there is a rule in Finland has been that it's special permissions you can take the audit as company, but it has been really difficult, really tough. So as for example, at my company, we have a schedule for one audit 4 times, and each time we have been missing not to get the people. It's a typical trend in the world also that the auditors can't do it from remote, so they need to be physically on place as well. So virtually, no, it's not yet the industry quite conservative in that sense. So the auditors have not been able to come to the area, and that has been a problem. Otherwise, meetings, the internal meetings, fine with Zoom, Teams, or whatever. That's something that we are used to. We have been used to it, but then it's clearly that we are missing at the physical, shall we say, the physical face-to-face meeting. That's something that can't be always done through a Teams meeting, because it's not usually only the meeting itself. You have a discussion before the meeting, you have like a dinner after the meeting, and those are things that we are missing, that you can't have the small talks. Usually in Teams, it's not so easy to have a small talk. So that's clearly something new coming in, of course. Yes, virtually classes, those are coming more and more. Holograms, they are coming more and more, but they are not here yet. So we will see which will be first, the virtual or holograms or the vaccine. Hopefully the vaccine at least.
Thank you for these comments, Thomas. I think our feelings are quite common, and these were good insights from the industry. I'll send these insights and challenges for Esko to take up also in the panel. And while the panel discussions that are starting now go on, I will stay here and grab my computer and join also the chat forces, helping you with Brella if you have questions regarding the platform or trying to find you connections. Esko, are you ready to introduce our panelists?
Indeed, I am. Today we have three interesting panelists here in studio with us. And first, I would like to ask you, Karita Pöntiö, Senior Export Advisor in an export organization, WeExpo. With your 15 years of experience in international sales, how have the last 6 months of virtual meetings changed your daily meeting habits and your work basically?
Well, first of all, I have to say I hate the word senior in my title, but what can you do? The year has been really challenging on many ways, and especially for the companies that are trying to get new customers, that is really challenging because you really need to have the physical, the normal contact with the customer. But then on the other hand, the situation is what it is. We just have to live with it, and I think we should put more emphasis on these virtual meetings. It's just the way to do the thing, but you have to try to really be interested on the customer or whoever it is, and try to have some kind of discussion else than just the work, the sales or that.
Computer is just a tool, and we have to use it.
It's humans who are actually in this business.
Yeah. Johan Boholm, co-founder of globally operating health tech company Raisoft and the man behind SmartBreak. From your point of view as entrepreneur, what has been the best thing about the recent times of virtual meetings?
I would say time saving, because as we all know, traveling takes a lot of time, and also there are many expenses to traveling. So I would say you can be more efficient with the online meetings.
Yeah.
But it can also have drawbacks, because then you have too many meetings and you forget to take breaks.
And also, as we heard the comment about, it's not always about the efficiency. We lose the meals and the discussion and the free discussion, which also important. About efficiency, Trine Warblane, International Business Developer at the Technology Center Merinova. How many virtual meetings have you had during the last week?
Since I know that I will get this question, I made a very quick calculation in the green room, and that's the result. 40, it means 40 virtual meetings, plus all the work, plus all the phone calls. So, but I have to admit, last 7 weeks have been very hectical. That's not a normal situation for me or my colleagues. But yeah, I have never done it before. I also need some breaks.
So it seems.
Yeah.
Does that ring a bell? How many meetings do you think that you have had during the last week? Does it go close to 40 meetings, or does it go even more than that?
Not 40, but today and yesterday 7 altogether. So, well,
quite a lot.
Maybe 10 to 20 during this week.
So
I would say
it's a really big part of all of your work at the moment. I'll hope that we and the audience also can find some advice and help with the virtual meetings with Antoni Lasinai's tips and tricks. And now we should head for the first video, and it's about the goal setting. Let's see what he has to offer for us.
It's time for your one-on-one digital sessions with people that you have connected with. How will you perform at your peak level, the best you can? Well, the first tips and advice I want to give you is about goal setting. So join the ride, because here we go. Whenever you set a proper goal, you will increase your performance by 15 to 30%, and that's a lot. But what is a proper goal? And what do you need to do in order to set them right? Well, first of all, what you shouldn't do is to think about goals as something that is not clear, concrete, and measurable. Because if it is, then it's not a goal. Then it's wishful thinking or a strategy or something else. So whatever you do, set your goal so that it's hard to reach. If you want to really peak perform, make it attractive. Things that you want to go to, make it precise so that it's really concrete, so you know how to, if you reach them or not. Make it punctual, of course. In this case, it's 10 minutes. That's what you have on your one-on-one session. So that's the time limit. And then make sure that it's within your control. So the goals now that you could set are 3. The first one is about identity. Who do you want to be? How would you like to be described? That is actually more of a long-term goal. It's about your brand identity, you can say, your personal brand. But ask yourself that question. When you enter that 10-minute meeting, how would you like to be perceived? Good start. But then you go into the actual kind of meat of the goal. It's the what question. What do you want to achieve? Now, when it comes to you sending information, you can ask yourself 3 questions. What do you want the other person to know? What is the actual kind of knowledge part of this? What do you want them to feel, in their guts? And what do you want them to do? How do you want them to act, so to say? So know, feel, and do are the ones that you can work with when it comes to goal setting. But remember that they are all about you sending information. The best speed dating meetings, the best mingling situations is when everyone asks another question, and that is, what can I do for you? Which means that you open up for curiosity. You open up for being interested rather than interesting. And people like that much more than if they only have to listen to somebody with a blow dryer, just hair is going backwards like that. So those are the couple of questions you should ask yourself, I think, if you want to set a proper goal when you go into that meeting. What else can you do then? Well, when it comes to goal setting, how about looking into things like motivation? Motivation is one of those things that will increase your own performance as well. So visualize how that meeting will go. Can you see it in front of you? Can you hear it? Can you touch it, smell it? Well, I can't smell it because it's kind of, a 2-dimensional screen. But you know what I mean? Can you see it in front of you? Can you hear it? Those are the things you can do. Visualize. That will help you tremendously, I would say, when it comes to, putting yourself in a good position. Another thing you can do is to make yourself, get yourself a trigger, like an anchor. What I do before I go up on stage, for instance, is that I raise my hands and I cleanse my fist twice, and then I say, yes, and then it's kind of an adrenaline rush in my body, and then I'm ready to perform. Do you have something similar? Do you have like a victory gesture? Do you have a great song you like to listen to put you in that good mood? Because what you want is to go into the meeting with an optimal state of mind. And that's what you get if you are really motivated. So set proper goals and then boost up your motivation. Those meetings will be great. They will be awesome. Good luck.
Thank you, Antoni. So, lots of stuff in short amount of time. First off, about the how would you like to be described after you have had a successful meeting? What kind of impression do you want to leave for the other person behind the computer screen? What do you want to be described as?
Well, at least not the person who keeps the camera off all the time or the microphone. I don't know, maybe the quality of meetings that I have attended is not so good because my observation is that mostly people keep the cameras off for the technical reasons, of course, but I think it's really difficult to speak or present something you don't have an idea that what is the impression on the other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, I think I want to communicate honesty and trust so that the person on the other side can feel that they're confident and also want to make some deals afterwards.
I made some notes also from Anthony, but I agree with you, and I used to say that one of the best virtual business card we can use is to look in the camera, have a camera on, and be curious. Otherwise, how you can interact with the person? And back to your question, I think I would be very happy if somebody will describe me after our meeting that she really knows what she wants, and she really also know who she represents. And since all of us, we are working with networks, and I'm as an international business developer, I always have to develop. So I really need to connect with them. Otherwise, I won't make my work properly. So, but I have learned during how many months? 7-8 months now, that I enjoy much more face-to-face meeting than virtual meetings. But I also agree with you. Sometimes you save both time and money to make it virtually. So I would like to have a hybrid model in our future.
And I think that is something that we will go towards. The virtual meetings also have gone, I think, miles and miles during the pandemic forward, and they are much better than they were 7 months ago. And I think that it will be something that we will have meetings, but some meetings it's actually better to have online. About the curiosity, you as meeters, people who meet, do you think it's easier for you to be curious and listen, or is it easier for you to fill the space and tell about your things and your projects, and which side of the conversation it's easier for you?
Well, I have to be honest. I feel myself more comfortable on the talking side, but that is a bit dangerous because online you even easier it is to just blah blah blah, and you forgot to listen to the other people, and especially if you don't see them all the time, if they don't even have their cameras on. So, and it can easily be that you're also a bit nervous maybe, so you tend to just talk, and you're not really showing interest on the opposite person.
Do you feel that it's different for you to be curious and listen online than it would be in meetings face to face.
I would say so. I think in real life, I'm a good listener and I like to listen and then talk. But in these meetings, often the time is so short. So if you really want to present what you have to present, it's difficult.
Yes.
And I have also noticed that it's more challenging to be curious during the virtual meetings sometimes. But I have also noticed that by natural, I'm quite curious as a person in a positive way. You can be also curious in a negative way. So, but it's easier to do it during the face-to-face meetings.
Thank you. Next up, we will see more from Antoni, and we will hear about first impressions. They are really important in human interaction, and they tend to stick. Let's now listen Anthony's thoughts about first impressions and elevator pitches. Anthony, screen is yours again.
So now you have tried a couple of one-on-one meetings. It's time to take it to the next level. We're going to talk about two things today, which is about first impressions and it's about elevator pitches. Let's go for the first one. First impressions. Are they important or not? Well, actually, they are super important. So you have to do them right. You know how long it takes for another person to detect your facial expression? About a third of a second. And actually, we make up our mind and we make decisions 200 milliseconds before we even know it. So it's all done unconsciously. We're not, using our conscious part of the brain at all at that point. So I'm going to give you a test for this one. Here's what you will see. Very soon here, you will see a person A and a person B, A and B, with three things about them. Three things. Now, I would like you to shout out if you want to, or by yourself at least, talk about who you like the best. Shout out A or B, which one will you ever like the best? You will have three things about them, and that's it. You will have 1 second to look at them before I'm going to shut the picture off again. That's what you have. All right, so here we go. 1, 2, 3. Most of you would have said A. I think A is best. But let's take a look at them for 5 more seconds. Now some of you will say, oh, they are the same. They are not the same. The order of the impression matters. This is what's called first impressions. So rather show yourself, with an energetic, positive kind of face and facial expression, because then people will like you better. I'm going to go into energy in the last of those 3 models I will have. So there you go. That's the reason for having a great first impression. Another reason is they last. People don't want to change unless they have plenty of time to get to know you. And then they might say, oh, he was much nicer than I thought, or oh, she wasn't as nice as I thought. But you have 10 minutes. 10 minutes, that's it. So people will not change. 70% of all first impressions last. So why not make it into a good one instead? The second part is, how do you make sure that you're not talking all the time yourself? A good way to do that is to talk about elevator pitches, or use an elevator pitch, which means that you only talk for like 10, 15, 20, perhaps 30 seconds most to say what you need to say, and then go into a Q&A mode instead, a dialogue instead of a monologue. So how can you do that? Well, you can structure it basically 2 ways. One is to say something like, I am, I do, because. For instance, in my case, I could say something like, I am a communication expert within workplace communication. I deliver keynotes and trainings so that I help other people become better at communicating themselves because they want to get along better, build better relationships, and be more competitive in the market. What did that took 12 seconds or something like that, maximum. Another way is to start with the client and then go backwards, like outside in. Then you say something about I am hired for, or my clients want, or my client is typically A, and then they need this and this because, or I deliver. For me, that could be something like, my clients are often a manager who want to increase the work engagement in the office. I come in and give trainings, coaching, and keynote speeches about workplace communication and customer experience. And therefore, they will be much more competitive and have a much better performance at work. That was like on the fly right now. I just came up with that. So, whichever way you do it, script it first. Make sure that it sounds good for you. I didn't do it now, but do it. Kind of script it and say it over and over and over again. Have a couple of versions depending on who you talk to as well. And then it will be much easier to go into the next phase, which is the questions. So then you can say something like, would that be interesting for you or for anyone you know? And now you can have a dialogue about that. And now you can perhaps expand your network. And then you can have this kind of conversation instead of a monologue. Much better and much more fun for the other one as well. If you don't do it again, you will have the blow dryer effect. You will talk. 10 minutes is gone. What have you achieved? Nothing really. But do it this way instead. It's going to be much better. I promise. Good luck.
%70% of the first impressions tend to stick. How conscious are you about your first impressions? Johan, how much time do you spend getting ready for the first impression in virtual meetings? Do you close the doors and take care of the children and all the animals are out of the meeting room? And how much do you use time for setting up?
Short answer is 5 weeks. 2 hours before this situation, I had a really important meeting. So the potential client contacted us 5 weeks ago. So now I've had 5 weeks of time to prepare for the Teams meeting that I had 2 hours ago.
How do you feel? Did you give a good first impression in that meeting?
Of course, I hope so, but I think it went well. No, but in general, I would say like 10 minutes or so, try to shut out everything. Like you said, close the door. So on.
How about you? Triinu, how much do you spend time setting up for your 40 meetings a week?
Sometimes 0 minutes, but very often I have to really prepare, and not even alone. I have to prepare together with my team. So it depends. I agree with you, Johan. It's not so long time ago we had a meeting, and we prepared for this meeting since August. So it really it depends. But if you have a totally new business meeting, I think if it's important, don't have not important meetings. But if you have a important meeting, you should prepare. So don't go with the flow. Otherwise, I don't know what the outcome will be. Yeah,
good point, Triinu. I totally agree. But also, I'd like to put a lot of time in preparation concerning the opponent. For example, if I have a meeting with a customer or something and they are new to me, so I check a lot of information that can be found, and maybe that will also help me to set up the right questions, and so not only to brush your hair but also prepare on the person with whom you are talking to.
How conscious are you about the first impressions you give in virtual meetings? Are you like when we meet in person, we don't have the computer screen with our own face on half of the screen and the other person on the other half. How conscious are you when you're having the first moment with the client or with the person that you are meeting with?
It depends, but I really try to be myself. So I do many things unconsciously, and I want to mention one important thing. What I also actually learned from Anthony Lachinai. I have followed him. He told in one presentation that if you let's see if I can say it in the right. If you don't consciously include, then you definitely unconsciously exclude, and this is really important that you include to the all kind of virtual or whatever you are participating, if you want to have some result. If you don't want to have a result, why you participate in something? So be conscious and be aware and include.
All the things that we can turn off the screen and just speak to the black screen. It's I've heard that it's around 70% of our communication. It's about facial expressions and the non-verbal communication. It's actually a bigger part of our communicating than the words. So it really is important to remember to consciously include and be with the person that you are meeting. We still have some more thoughts from Anthony. Next up, we have one session about the superpowers of communication. Let's see what Anthony has to offer.
Time for the third and the last module. This is about the 3 communicative superpowers. Now, I spent like 25 years searching, finding 20 communication secrets, principles, lessons, insights. But I also found you can aggregate them up to 3 communicative superpowers. Now, if you want to influence people, if you want to build good relationships with people, well, then you want to be a good communicator. There's no way around it. You want to communicate with energy, empathy, and clarity. Let's go through them one by one. Energy is about them believing that you believe. Why should they if you don't seem to do it? Energy is like a magnet. If you have positive energy, you will be a magnet. People will be drawn into you. They want to be with you. It's just like a restaurant street. We have 2 restaurants, one filled with people, one empty. Which one do you want to go to? The empty one. No, you don't. Yes, you can get food quickly, but you will also get food poison very quickly. You want to go to the one where the other people are, where the action is. That's where you want to go. So you have to be that person who gives energy. Be yourself plus 10%. Good advice. So that's about energy. Body language, voice, facial expressions, showing your emotions, and so on. Empathy is about them, the other person, feeling that you're really trying to understand them and that you are attentive and present in the moment to try to understand them, that you get them, We want to hang out with people who are giving us that gift of their attention and really listen to what we say. Much better than people who just talk all the time themselves. Or they answer a question before you even asked the whole question, things like that. So that's about empathy, being interested rather than interesting. Now, if you do that properly, people will love you for it. Because really, if you look at it, how many people are really interested in you? I'm sorry to say, not that many. Most people are interested in themselves. And if they're really kind of stretching it, they will say something like, enough talk about me, let's talk about you. What do you think about me? And then it's back to you again. You don't want that. So empathy, again, superpower. The third superpower is clarity. Clarity, that you really laser sharp in your message so that people feel smart. They get it, and they will hang out with you if you make them feel smart. If you can make them see what you see and hear what you hear and feel what you feel, they will be in your world. It could be a story, it could be something else. They will feel smart. They will be part of your crew or your tribe in the future. You will build relationship with those people. I'm thinking about Michelangelo, really. Michelangelo made this statue of David, a magnificent statue. I've seen it. It's in Florence. And he carved it out of one piece of marble. And he said to his disciples, he said, you know what? David was inside all the time. What I did is that I removed everything around him. That's clarity. You know, so when you talk about something, make sure that you use the right kind of words, that it really makes sense, or color it with a metaphor or something else. Now let's go back to energy, because this is where you have the digital challenge that you need to work with. How you look, how you sound. I mean, you can have combed your hair or shaved or trimmed your beard or whatever you do, but really if you don't have a camera that can capture you well enough, then it's not going to be good anyway. And the worst thing you can do is to put your laptop in your knee or way behind your face, and then all I see is your unshaved nostrils and your ceiling and the lights in the ceiling. I don't want that anymore. Please, for the love of God, stop it. You know, put your camera on eye level. Look into the camera. You know, have a decent enough camera so it works. And then when it comes to, you know, being able to see your face, have some light as well. Don't have like a window behind you so all I can see is your silhouette. That's creepy. You don't want that. You want to be seen with proper light. Now, what else can you do? Well, you can have some sort of nice background. I mean, I don't want to see your unmade bed or your dishes that you haven't, you know, washed and things like that. No, I don't want that. So make sure that you have a neutral background at least. How you sound is also important. Actually, it's the most important thing, really, how you sound. Now, I decided to have this microphone for this recording with you guys. It's a dynamic microphone. It works pretty nice, I think. It's a good one because when it's dynamic or cardioid, then it means that it kind of puts its attention towards my mouth. So it doesn't capture, for instance, the shouting fan I have right in that corner where my computer is right now. I mean, there are so many models of this. This is another one. Blue Yeti, you have Rode, you have different kind of brands. It costs about €100. Buy it. You will have much better sound, and that's great because people will love you for it. That's a little bit hard to do right now because you're into that session. You're going to go into the session soon, but see if you can kind of boost your sound as much as possible and the environment around you. And by the way, this tips is not only for this occasion, it's for every digital session from now on. So there you go. Energy, empathy, clarity. The third and final piece of this puzzle. There's, of course, much more to say. If you follow me on LinkedIn, I'm going to be happy to share, and you know, I learn from you as well, different insights about communication, both analog and digital. My name is Anthony Lassinai, keynote speaker, communication skills trainer. Thank you for this time.
Thank you, Anthony. He seems to have some superpowers, really. Now let's discuss for a while about our superpowers. Anthony mentioned the three powers: energy, empathy, and clarity. If you had to choose one of these superpowers, which would be the most important? What do you think, Triinu?
If I'm only able to choose one, it's empathy. But I would like to have 1/3 all of those trees, and also develop those skills in myself.
You said empathy. If you had to choose one, why would you choose empathy?
I really believe that if the person understands you and you understand the person, it's much easier to cooperate and make business. I don't know. Maybe it's also a personal question. What feels good? There is no a right and wrong answer. We are different, and it's a good thing that we are different humans, so we can interact. That's why I would choose empathy for me.
How about you two? Which one would you, if you had to choose one, which one would be the most important for you?
I have to say, I own a T-shirt that says, "I'm a Swedish-speaking Finn. What is your superpower?" But that was not an option here. So
not
I would
this
say,
time, but it helps.
It helps. Yeah, I would say clarity in my thinking, in my world.
Why would you choose clarity?
It's so much easier if you think what you hear, if someone else tells you something, if you understand it immediately, instead of having to figure out what did they actually say. So I think it's easier if you can put the things in a clear way.
Yeah, all are really good points, and should be in good condition, absolutely. But maybe I agree with Triinu about the empathy, because in every communication situation we are actually kind of trying to build the trust with the opponent or the opposite, and before you can sell anything or do any business together, you kind of have to build the trust. Especially when we go outside Finland. Here in Finland, we of course we trust each other and think that everything will work out just fine. But outside Finland, it is much more important to build the trust. And how can you build it if you're not really interested on the person and trying to learn their ways and emphasize on things? So, yeah. That maybe.
What would you describe? Which one would be your superpower from these three? Which one do you feel the most that this is my superpower?
Nobody have never asked me what's my superpower, but I think if you ask like that, I think my superpower is combined from situation to situation. Those three good points what Anthony pointed out. That's my superpower. But I'm the wrong person to answer. My colleague should do that.
Yeah, that
and my
could be
customers.
different answer from them.
Yeah.
But I also think that every one of us have these three things inside of us, and it's dependent of the situation and dependent of the meeting that which one is like more controlling of the three. Or yeah. How about you? What would you describe from these three as your main superpower?
I hope it would be the clarity, but should be asked from other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. When I created the first software for this Drysoft company 20 years ago, then we also noticed that, hey, we need to have some training sessions so the users can start using the software. And we didn't have so much staff, so I did it. And after about 100 training sessions, when we started gathering feedback, like 90% of them said clarity. So I think might be one of the superpowers.
You have data to back your answer here. Thank you for you all for being here in the panel with me and to discuss about these topics. I hope it has been fruitful for you to hear from Antoni's point of view also the things, and I hope it's been fruitful for you, the viewers behind the computer screens with your microphones and cameras there. And I hope there's something that you can take to your meetings and make them more successful when you have them online from now on. Thank you. Have good ideas for future meetings.
And I would also like to thank all of you for that bravely put yourself into these discussions. It was so nice to just sit down here and listen to you, and I believe that discussions and the ability to make connections are superpowers in all four of you. And we hope that also our audience got some tips and tricks and ideas. And I would love to once more lift the possibility to give us some feedback. So please, if you have some time with us still, grab your mobile phone or open a web browser window there next to you and go to a web browser, www.menti.com. And since we have a couple of questions waiting for you over there, when you have reached the Menti website, put in a code 6030295 and you'll find questions waiting for you. Your feedback, as I mentioned earlier, helps us developing our events, and it will only take a couple of minutes for you to answer those. You can go the questions through by yourself at your own pace, and when you have answered all of them, it's also possible for you to see what the public in average felt today. But everything is totally anonymously in Menti, and it is not possible to see and who said and what. So be totally brutally honest. That honesty was also maybe one of the superpowers that we Finns have, and so please, we grow by honesty. Yes, please join me once again. Thank you for a deep discussion.
Thank you. It is always nice to give an audience a way to reflect their thoughts and give feedback. It's really important. I think it has been really interesting afternoon here in the Media Center Lime Studios. I want to thank the keynotes and our panelists for excellent input.
Me too, and I would like to thank you all warmly over there as well. And I would also like to remind you that you still have time to book meetings for the following hour if you have energy to do that today, and for the 2 following days still ahead of us. Tomorrow on Wednesday, Kokkola Industrial Park will host the first sessions of Re-Kokkola Day, and many industrial contact persons will be online then. And in the afternoon tomorrow, Centria University of Applied Sciences will host the afternoon sessions, as well as a local energy community Zoom webinar called LECO and remanufacturing Zoom webinar. Both can be found in side events in the stream tab. And finally, on Thursday, we'll be hearing news on the latest breakthroughs in bioeconomy research during the BioKokkola afternoon.
And I would like to thank and admire the technical team of ours, the professionals and the students who did a great job today.
Indeed, it was so nice to take part of this equal in an enthusiastic crew. I would also like to thank you, Esko, again for hosting this event with us. You did brought a professional touch to our audience work by guiding through us this event.
Likewise, Reija. It's been great opportunity to be part of this and the whole virtual event. It is important to remember that platforms are just platforms, and it is us humans who make them happen.
You're so right, and therefore, before we close the cameras for the day, I would like to remind you of the BRELA meeting slots available today. Many possibilities to meet someone new and have an interesting chat for 10 minutes via this BRELA video call. Warm recommendations to send away invitations even for the days to come. It has been a blast to stand here with you all. See ya.
Thank you all and have a good night.
Yes, Future Cleantech Solutions says good night.